All right, guys, what's going on? This video is going to be the 3 ways that you can structure your event. Bear with me, I got some fresh ink and it's a Monday morning, but we're going to dive right into this so that you can figure out which event model is right for you. So you'll be able to make a decision based off of your experience, based off of your budget, and then based off of your goals. So here are the three different types. Um, you don't want to go too big if you're a beginner. And if you've got experience, you may not need to start small. But here's the three options that you have. So you've got a casual or a non exclusive event, you've got a semi exclusive event, and then you've got an exclusive event. So I'm going to break each one of these down. Let's start with casual or non exclusive. So this is going to have an attendance of anywhere between 5 to 20 people. So think of it more like a meetup or a meet and greet. It could be like a coffee, it could be a hike, it could be a happy hour. It's basically just a hangout. So it's not really like much of an actual event, but this is the best place to start. And the reason why is because it's really fast, it's really easy, and then it's really free. There's no venue negotiations. There's almost zero planning required. Like you could put one together the end of this week. I mean, you could even possibly like put one together tomorrow. And from all my experience of guys that I've worked with, this is actually even one of the best and quickest ways to get wins, socially and dating, and get it very quickly. So the second option now, aside from like casual or non-exclusive, would be semi-exclusive. Okay, so this is a step above just kind of like telling people to show up somewhere without giving any sort of like, warning to like venues and stuff. So semi-exclusive is going to be usually like 20 to 50 people. So think of this as more of like a party that's happening within a party. So instead of the entire venue, you're reserving or kind of like going in early to take over dedicated space inside of an existing event or venue. So the way that it works is like kind of like a reserved room. Maybe it's like a private section that you talk to the venue about. Maybe it's like a reserved patio. Maybe it's a VIP table. Maybe it's like the private corner. Usually you will need to contact the whoever is running the larger system ahead of time. So there can be instances though where there's no risk, right? So that does like these don't necessarily always come with minimums. Like it just may be a reservation. Sometimes you might run into minimum spends, and that would be an example of like, bottle service and stuff like that. So you would need to figure out a way to liquidate that either up front or on the back end. And so the difference with semi-exclusive and then like casual is that it's dedicated, there is dedicated space and it's a little bit more curated. So it's a little bit more experiential. And for that reason, it's just a little bit more organized and memorable. People feel like they're attending something special instead of simply, just showing up. But like I said, showing up is also extremely powerful as well. And then the third option that you have is an exclusive event. And this is going to be anywhere between 50 to 150 people. And this is where you control the entire experience. So this could be at a house, this could be on a boat, or this could even be like an entire venue buyout. Now, the reason these are the most powerful, but also the most logistically complex is because, you control the entire experience, you control the atmosphere, you control the branding, you can add logos, you can have sponsors, you can, get photography and set up step and repeat banners, and you can have entertainment, and you can sell tickets, you can sell sponsorship packages. So this is where things begin to kind of get pretty serious and get pretty real. But there's that kind of like trade-off, right? There's more upside, but there's also more responsibility. You're often going to have, for sure a minimum spend. Sometimes there might even be like a small deposit. And that's the main thing, is like there is going to be a financial component to this that you are going to need to liquidate either on the front end or the back end. So, most guys that start the process of hosting don't go with some exclusive event that has red carpets. They'll usually start off with some sort of meetup just to understand the process front to back, just to understand all of the systems front to back. And then they'll transition into something a little bit more semi exclusive. and then they'll, get into the exclusive events, mastering one level before moving on to the next. So if you've never hosted before, start casual. If you've hosted several successful meetups, start moving into more like, semi-exclusive uh, spaces where you can, reach out and kind of get some uh, like a dedicated area. And then if you've got a reliable community, people will show up. You can start graduating into exclusive events. You need to have bigger lists of people to reach out to. And just keep in mind, like, there's no prize for skipping steps. Like, the fastest path to success is actually like the patient one. It's the consistent one. It's the one that's doing it correctly. And I've always said to guys, like, in order to win in the long game, you've got to be willing to start where you are, and kind of in the beginning, maybe lower your expectations and lower your standards so that the, increment from where you're at to catching wins and success is smaller and it's more in our actual control. We can gradually scale that up. So hopefully that's helpful, guys. Those are the 3 ways that you can structure your event. And yeah, just hit me up if you have questions. By the way, below this video, I've got a school community that's got more in-depth trainings where you're able to, see some of the breakdowns of how I run Instagram ads in order to get people to come to these events, how I create group chats in order to nurture people prior to events. And then if you want me and my team within the private client program to, set this up and do this with you alongside you, there's a button below that's available if you want to book a call and have that discussion. See you guys there. Peace.